Speaking the truth about money is for anyone ready and willing to examine their negative thinking about money, let go of the false narrative of the scarcity mindset, and has the courage to change the way they think and talk about money. My name is Martin Cowart, former Fortune 100 wealth manager turned prosperity mindset coach on a mission to eradicate the scarcity mindset from our planet. Each week, we share stories with extraordinary people changing the future by changing the way they think about money to the truth. We are powerful human beings with infinite resources, including money, to create a world of abundance and prosperity for everyone to enjoy. Let's get started. Good afternoon, and welcome to today's episode of Speaking the Truth About Money with Martin Cowart and Joy the Wise Woman. And I am both Martin Cowart and Joy the Wise Woman. Joy the Wise Woman is the name of my spiritual name. And I'm so excited today because I get to go on solo today, which is new for me. I typically have guests. But there's an important message that I want to convey to my fellow entrepreneurs, thought leaders, change agents, and influencers. Because this is the thing. We don't really know how to effectively work in virtual space yet. It's new. And yet most of us, and I think more and more of us, are going to be working in virtual space to affect the kind of change in the world that we're looking to change. That is where we're going. So I want to share with you some thoughts I have today about how we can better position ourselves into the world in virtual space so that we can be more effective in making those changes in the world we want to make. And that is around the power of the decision to say yes or no. Now, understand something. Everything in the universe can be understood from an understanding of energy, frequency, and vibration. And negative energy, things that come out of no, have a negative impact. They make us feel negative. They lower our vibrational field. That doesn't mean we don't use the word no. It means that we don't stop saying no. But we want to use no in a way that's going to not lower people's vibrational frequency, because there's going to be a negative impact when we do. Yes, on the other hand, is an opportunity to say yes, creates an opportunity for growth and creativity. It puts out a positive vibration into the universe. So as thought leaders and change agents, we want to be constantly aware of the energy we're putting out into the universe on virtual space. Okay? That is the topic of our show today. So what I love is anybody's listening today, just put in an amen into the comment section. Let me know you're here. I love people to comment, and I would love it if anybody's for you that are watching me today live. And I know we create this into a podcast, and not everybody gets to attend live. But if you're live, I love engagement. So it gets more fun, gets more interactive. If you, particularly when I'm by myself, if you would make a comment and just say hello, I'm here, or ask me questions, and it makes the show a lot more entertaining, a lot more exciting. So if you're out there and you're listening, please comment and just say hello in the comment section so I'm not here all alone. It feels better, okay? And that's important because this is why it's so important about the vibration we put out into virtual space. People will not remember what you said, but they'll always remember how you feel. So think about when do you say no? How intentional are you in saying no? For example, I'm going to give you an example of one. What does it feel like when you get an unsubscribe to your emails from somebody, like a family member or a friend or somebody in your community that you know? How does it make you feel? Be honest. It doesn't make me feel very good. I don't send out emails unsolicited to people. I only send emails out to people who are in my community, and I'm trying. I don't send out spam. I send out things that I think people are going to be of value to people, whatever that might be. I'm sending out stuff that I hope will be of value to them. So when someone I know and care about that's in my community unsubscribes to my list, it makes me feel bad. I can't be do that. It's like I don't really want to hear from you. I don't have time for you. I don't really care about you. Let me give you an example. There's a woman in my church that I like a lot. I like her. She's a spiritual teacher. I love her. She's a wonderful person, and she happens to be someone who teaches some improv. She teaches acting and stuff. And I've been wanting to take an improv class. And I spoke to her about that a while back. And she said, oh, yeah, I've got a class coming up. This was like in the summertime. And I've got a class coming up in September. I'd love for you to join. I said, great. I'll look forward to that. Guess what she did? She recently, after that, for some reason, she unsubscribed to my email list. Unsubscribed. And I was sending her some really important information, by the way. And it didn't make me feel good. I thought, wait a minute. Here's this woman. I just told her about what I'm interested in taking and what she's doing. But she just sent me an email saying, I don't really, what do you make up of that? I don't care what story you make up. But when someone tells you they don't want to hear from you and they don't want to get your emails, it doesn't make me feel good. I don't care. I'm going to make up a negative story. She doesn't like me. She's not interested. She's too busy. I don't care what it is, but it's a negative energy. Are you following me? If you're listening, just put a comment in. So yeah, I got you. Okay. If you're one who's, when you get think about it, when you get an unsubscribe, and I don't send it to people I don't know, so I don't worry about this. Everybody that gets an email from me that are on my distribution list are people that are in my community, and I'm giving them something of value. And so when I get something that says I'm unsubscribed, and it's kind of a small, they stand out, and it made me feel bad. Do you think I signed up for her class? No. Why would I want to go work with somebody who doesn't care about anything I'm doing? She's only caring about herself. I don't think she's intentionally even thinking about it. And that's why I'm using this as an example. I bet, how often do you unsubscribe to somebody that you know and like and care about, and you're unsubscribing to their email list and not telling? Now, something else you could do. What if I was sending out spam? What if I was sending out unnecessary stuff that if they really cared about me? Instead of unsubscribing, they might say, Martin, hey, I got your emails, but I want to tell you something. I had somebody do this to me once. I had a coach a couple years ago do this. Said, Martin, your stuff is a little spammy. You might want to look at what you're sending out. And I course corrected. That's a friend. That's using that. That's having the courage to stand up and say, I care about you, Martin, and the kind of things that you're sending out are really probably not in your best interest. Maybe you want to take a look at that. And I made some course corrections. That's a whole different reaction than just saying, I don't care about you. I'm unsubscribing. So yesterday I'm having a conversation. I didn't take a class. I do want to take an improv class. I'm having a conversation with this guy I met on LinkedIn, a gay guy, a coach, sweetheart of a man who's very interested in learning what I'm doing. Seemed very interested in me too. We had we're feeling good about each other. And he let me be known that he's here in Northern New Jersey where I am. And he teaches improv. And he happens to have an in-person improv class coming up. Thank you, Jeff. I want to comment on that yes, exactly. Yes, exactly. And because that we want to be putting out these vibrations out there in the world that make people feel good, particularly in our roles as entrepreneurs and thought leaders and change agents, because people remember how we make us feel. But we do something so unconsciously, simply by doing something like unsubscribing from an email list. But there are consequences. Thank you, Jeffrey, for coming in here. There are consequences, because this is the thing. I didn't take her course. She lost out on an opportunity to make a sale for a client, because I don't want to work with someone who makes me feel bad. Instead, I met this young guy yesterday, lovely gay coach, also in Northern, I didn't know that, who's teaching an improv class in the very same town she is, not far from my house. Which class am I going to take? I'm going to take the guy. I'm excited about taking the class with this new guy I met on the internet yesterday because he made me feel good. He gave me a positive vibration. We're all in alignment. So that's why it's so important that we align ourselves with positive vibration and putting out positive vibrations into the universe. And no and yes are very, very positive or negative vibrational energies. So we've got to find times to say no, and we've got to find in a way that doesn't bring down people's vibrational energy. And we've got to find, and we got to look for opportunities to say yes to that divine calling. Because what I discovered last year is we've got, and how do we do that? How do we know? How do we know when to say yes and when to say no? Well, for me, and this is what I encourage people to do, is I've got to be in heart space. When I'm in heart space, I have no doubt. So the first thing we got to do every day, we got to slow down and get still, listen to that small voice and get intimate with our divine presence, what I call Joy the Wise Woman, because she's going to guide me in that decision. But if we don't have that relationship with the divine within ourselves, we don't have anything we can lean into. So that's part of it. The most important piece is having your mission statement, your sole purpose clearly, your North Star clearly in front of you, guiding you every second of every day and every decision you make and everything you do. My mission is I am lovingly creating a world of love and abundance by teaching and coaching the path to the heart. How to move into heart space, how to live into heart space so you can have these queer superpowers. That's my mission in the world. How do we create more abundance and prosperity for everybody to enjoy? And I do that by what I do as a coach and a teacher. What I'm doing right now, that's what I send out. That is my mission. So when I'm faced with a decision, do I do this or do I do that? I very clearly look first, is it in alignment with my mission? Does it serve that sole purpose of mine? And that's what came into being last year when I was faced with the issue of going to Africa. Now, my rational thinking mind, I'm out there trying to build my coaching practice, and I'm looking for, and I have a pretty high ticket product here. So I'm out there every day looking for people to want my, and it's a noble agenda. I do have some noble things, but it's still my agenda really. And so if I'm so focused on that, I might be unaware of saying yes to something of real value, something that's going to be real transformational for me. So what I was able to do when the opportunity came up for me to go to Africa to meet with a client and help him with what he was trying to do, his name is Abba Henry, I was able to say, rational mind, I need to look at this. And I asked myself a question. Does this trip to Africa to meet Abba, does it align with my mission? Is this in alignment with my mission to create a world of abundance and prosperity for everybody in the world through my coaching and my teaching? Absolutely. Definitely the call was, we need your help. I could not ignore that yes. I had to say yes. I had to say yes to the universe. And I'm so glad I did, because it completely changed my life. I now have, after going to Abba and Africa and meeting Abba and other queer Africans, I have a much clearer sense of who I am and what I'm here to do. I'm on a divine mission like we all are. But we got to know what that is, and we got to continually find ways to say yes to it. Because as change agents and thought leaders and influencers, that's how we're going to do it, by saying yes to God, yes to the universe, yes to the divine, whatever words you need to say that, yes to that divine intuition. I call it Joy the Wine Woman. Because then I have no shadow of a doubt that I'm going out there doing something of positive change in the world. I've let go of my own personal agenda to build my coaching practice to look at something else that might need to be done. I'm the servant of the universe. And it puts me in that place of servanthood. And that's how we can affect change, by creating that transformational space where people feel safe to be themselves and authentic, including ourselves, by the way. So it's not like saying we don't want to quit saying no, or quit, or it's not like no is bad and yes is good. It's not there's no good or bad. It's being intentional. It's being intentional with it. And every time we're faced with an opportunity to say yes or to say no, we think, what is the impact? And and by my decision, will it further my mission, my soul purpose, my mission, my life's mission, or not? And that could be in a lot of different ways. You have to be careful not to say yes to like shiny objects. I remember I had a coach once, a great coach from the Soul Purpose Institute. Steve D'Annunzio is a great coach. Great. I learned a lot from him about teaching from a place of the soul. And he was telling a story about he was invited to be a co-author of the chicken soup is the heart of the soul. The chicken soup. What is chicken soup? The heart of the soul. I can't think of it. Jack Canfield's books. And he looked at his mission and he looked at his purpose, and he had to decline because it was, as much as he would have loved to have been a part of that very popular series, and it could have really catapulted his business up to the top, it did not align with his mission. It didn't align with what he was trying to do at the time. So he politely got a hold of Jack and said, Jack, thank you so much for the invitation, but I got to decline it because it doesn't align with what my sole purpose is right now. So he took that no and made it. And so Jack clearly understood it because he was telling the truth. I can't do this now, so I'm going to do something else. It didn't align. So that's the whole point of what we're talking about today, is how do we align ourselves up with our divine purpose and who we are? When do you say no and when do you say yes? And we want to be very, very intentional about when we use no and when we use yes. It's just about what you're putting out into the universe. Are you putting out negative energy or are you putting out positive energy? This is what I've discovered about myself too. And I think a lot of us is that and this is a daily thing, by the way. The agenda that Joy the Wise Woman and I came up with yesterday may not be the agenda for today. You see, the egoic mind loves to find things to attach to. Oh, this would be a great, this project in Africa is a great example. I'll talk a little bit about that. This project in Africa that I'm heading up with Abba is a great, great, great service to the universe. It's the how that changes every day, because the how is always the divine. We humans, the human part of us, without the being, without the spark of life, can't do anything. We'd be dead. The doing part is always the divine. So we have to listen to that divine intuition so we can let go and surrender our own agenda daily, moment by moment, to step into that power and be the servant of that divine presence we have in us. You understand the difference? And that's a daily practice. We have to have a daily practice every day to clear the mind of everything, whether we think it's good, bad, or for the right cause. It's still, if it's in our mind, it's our agenda. And we got to let it go to create space for something new that day, in that moment, which is going to be completely different. It could be completely different from what it was yesterday. We have to realign ourselves, our bodies and our minds, with our spirit every single day, so that we can go out and make an effect the changes we want to affect in the world. Because the human doesn't do it. It's the divine that's doing everything. We get this illusion in our head that we're these separate entities that's controlling the world, is doing the thinking, and it's not true. We're not. That's just the human shell. That's just the car. All right? The actual driver of the car is Joy the Wise Woman. Because even if Martin got in the car and I didn't got in the car, started driving, and if I didn't have that divine intuition plugged in, and I wasn't following her advice, I might have a car accident because she's doing the doing. Understand that. We get under this illusion that we humans are doing it. We're not doing it because that's not who we are. We're spirit. And we all know that. We all know that. We don't know a lot of things, but the one thing we all know is that we're not just a human. We're so much bigger and so much more powerful than that. And that part of us, that divine creative awareness that we are, that loving creative energy force, that positive that's creating everything in the universe is right there within, and that's how we create stuff. So our job as thought leaders, influencers, is to get in touch with that part of ourselves daily, almost at moment to moment, really. It's really moment to moment. It's like in the decision process. How am I plugged in? Who am I listening to? Am I listening to my rational thinking mind that's telling me, stay safe, do this, do that, do this, because that doesn't make any sense? Or do I look at that and say, wait a minute here. Does this align with my mission? What does my divine intuition have to say about this? And how is this going to further me being a servant to the world and serving the world completely 100%? If we want to live in the abundance of the world, what I know to be true for myself and what I believe to be true as a master teacher of the universe is that we've got to give out everything. Everything. Give it away. I give away free coaching. I give away free everything. That's what I'm doing right now. Free. Give it all away. Because there's an abundance of it. And then you'll receive the abundance back in. You see? Because you're making people feel better. You're making the world better. You're using your gifts that God gave you. And I work a lot within the queer community. I call it our queer superpowers. And for gay men or trans men, I believe the superpowers are in our divine feminine. Because I think the divine feminine are those characteristics that many of us had to discard in order to get along with the normal boys. So a lot of what I coach you was like, let go of all that nonsense. It almost put me into bankruptcy. I had to let go of trying to be a normal boy and just could be my own queer self. Loving, nurturing, and compassionate, empathy, all these things that Jeff just mentioned a minute ago that we need to lean into in everything that we do as leaders. So when you're sending out that no to someone, practice a little empathy, practice a little compassion. How is it going to feel on the other end of that for the recipient? How is it going to feel on their side to get that unsubscribe notice from your email list? Are they going to feel better? Are they going to feel worse? Are they going to feel like they're loved and cared for? Are they going to feel like you don't care about them? Be honest. And that will alter your decision. I would never in a million years unsubscribe to anybody that I know, love, and care about in my community to their email list, because I wouldn't want to give them that message. I simply would not want to give anybody that message that's in my community. And if they were sending me some kind of message that I thought was not appropriate or did not serve me or serve them, I wouldn't just unsubscribe. I care enough about them to get on the phone and say, I'm getting your emails, and if you don't mind, I'd like to share some things about how they're landing on me, so you might be able to improve them in a way that's going to make the impact you're looking to make. Isn't that a better way of solving that? What was the message I just gave that person? I care about them. So if you're a thought leader or you're a change agent out in the world, you want to be constantly thinking about the ways you can use yes and you can use no with an intention to create a positive change. It's just that simple. I'll say it again. If you're a thought leader, a change agent, or an influence, you want to get slow down enough, go inside yourself and think, what is the impact of what I'm going to do with this simple decision to say yes or no? And how can I make a decision to do whatever I'm going to do that's going to improve, that's going to raise the vibrational frequency of the universe, of that person receiving it, and for everybody else involved. That is the name of the game as thought leaders. Constantly, constantly, constantly be thinking of ways to raise vibrational frequency into that highest frequency of all is the frequency of the creative frequency, of which is the essence of who we are, by the way, of unconditional love. When we love unconditionally, and we constantly put out those messages of unconditional love. I care about you. I think you're doing great work. I want to know you. I want to support you. That's a whole ball game right there. You know, because you will feel better. You'll know because it makes you feel good. You don't care about the outcome, but you feel better because you put it out there. You put out a love vibration. You put out a positive vibration in the universe. So I hope this is helpful today in helping people understand the power of yes and the power of no. They're very both powerful energies. One is negative and one is positive. One destroys and one creates. So you've got to be able to put them out there in a way that's always going to get a positive result. But you got to be aware of the power behind the words so we can be intentional in how we put them out there. Now, the last thing I want to talk to you about is a very simple thing you can do to always tell the truth. And that is to say, I don't know. Because 99% of the time, we don't know. Our ego thinking minds can't stand not knowing. It thinks it knows everything. It thinks it has the best plan, the best future, the best agenda. And quite frankly, it knows nothing. Nothing. And doesn't need to know nothing. Because the truth is, there's a deeper knowing within us, within the heart, that knows everything. That knows everything. And the best way to get in touch with that is to fall in love with I don't know. Somebody asked me a question. I don't know. Let's take a look at that. I don't know. Martin does not know, but I got a part of me that probably does. And we can help you figure that out. Her name is Joy the Wise Woman, and she knows everything. And I've learned over the years, Martin needs to shut up and listen to her, because I get myself in more trouble all the time when Martin thinks he knows when he doesn't know. When Martin has an agenda that's going to change the world, and it's quite frankly, that was yesterday's agenda. It's not the agenda that the world needs today. But Joy knows what that is today. Joy knows because she's tapped in. She is that agenda. She is that divine presence. The loving divine presence is holding everything. She knows. We all have that, by the way. If we just fall in love with, I don't know. And here, I don't know. Because the truth is, we never know. We think we know. And that's what gets us in trouble. So what we do there is we get still, we get quiet, we clear the mind of what we think we know, we clear the mind of the need of control, we clear the mind of everything, and open the heart for the truth. And that's what living in heart space is all about. It's being really clear and really intentional about who and what we are. And when we get clear about who we are and we get very intentional about the energy we're putting out into the force, we'll become more effective thought leaders, we'll become change agents. That's where transformation occurred. And all of you, I know, including myself, are trying to learn how to do this in virtual space. So I'm hoping that today's episode is going to help you understand what I'm doing to learn how to be more effective and to be more powerful in getting this message out and move this world forward into a new world, a new kind, a new world order that's designed around a common, central, unified heartbeat. A world where love of the earth, love of each other, and love of life is above all else. Not some utopian, but where our intention is always focused on something bigger than ourselves. a world where we know we're not separate entities. We're all one. And anything I do to you, I'm doing to myself. So that's it today. So we're going to wrap it up with this. Be intentional with when you understand the power of yes, understand the power of no. Understand the power in forms of energies, negative or positive. Negative energies bring us down. Positive energies bring us up. So as thought leaders and change agents in the world, always be thinking of how you can raise the vibrational frequency in the world and be intentional with that. And the last thing is to tell your ego it doesn't know. Tell that little mind in yours, that little rational mind, it doesn't know. If I listened to that mind, I would have never gone to Africa, and I wouldn't be making the impact that I'm making in the world, working with Ava and other queer Africans to improve their lives. I am on a mission now that is worth living for. And it's all because I said yes to the divine. Thank you so much for listening to today's episode. If you are listening on iTunes, Spotify, or wherever you are, please leave me a rating and review. Let me know what you appreciated, where we can improve, and any topic you want to know about for future episodes. If you would like to find out more ways you can participate in the abundance mindset and prosperity living movement, join our private Facebook group, the Financial Mystics Sanctuary. If you are a gay, transgender, or bisexual man, ready and willing to explore how negative thinking about money is impacting you and our tribe, join our private Facebook group, Financial Heart Space for Gay, Transgender, and Bisexual Men, a sanctuary for LGBTQ business leaders to love and support each other. May love and prosperity prevail.